Hi, I'm Mike of Nearly Enough Dice, and this is the Kerbal Space Program. It seems to be night. Anyway, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Basically, I've got a couple of apps on my tablet, what you can't see. I've got I think the actual thing is called the Kerbal Space app. It's got a mission planner, so you can do things like, in this particular case, you can set up a mission. Now, what I want to do is send a craft from Kerbal the sun, from Kerbin to the moon and back again, right? And you can actually work out all sorts of, there are maps of how much delta V it takes to get from Kerbin to orbit, and then from Kerbin's orbit to the moon, and there's delta V's for all of these things. So I've got a planner for that. For example, it tells me to get from I'm going to have to change these tablet settings because it's very irritating for a minute. To go from Kerbin into Kerbin orbit, to take off from Kerbin is 4,775 meters per second of delta V. So, and then to get to the moon orbit, it's 1,224. To land from there is another 1,260, apparently. Well, I need 1,260 because landing is 630, and taking off is another 630, and then the transfer from Kerbin, from the moon, from taking off from the moon to Kerbin's orbit. I'm definitely going to have to change that. Basically, it's powering down after like 30 seconds of inactivity, and that's actually really irritating. And I'm going to find that to stop it. Anyway, so that's step one. Step two is screen timeout, and I'm going to give it 30 minutes of inactivity. There must be a setting. It must be setting for if you are plugged in, which is currently plugged into the power thing. Just stay on because you're plugged in. You don't need to worry about power saving. I don't know how to do that on this particular device at this particular moment. So, okay. So I've now planned out my mission. The total, so going from Kerbin to the moon and then back again, is 7,575 meters per second delta V. I might want to change that a bit because I haven't taken into consideration going into a parking orbit around Kerbin. Kerbin orbit. Let's give a Kerbin orbit of 80 odd. Now, let's see if this works the way I think it should. It doesn't. I wanted to add that and then move it into let's get rid of that one. Cancel it. Oh, we can't get rid of it. Oh, you can. Arg! Alright, I've just deleted the whole thing, never mind. So we're going to go from Kerbin orbit, that, and then I'm going to go to the moon. I'm going to a moon orbit. I'll say 9. Then I'm going to go to the moon, land and take off. And then I'm going to go to Kerbin, and we're going to land. So that's 7,633. So taking off is apparently 4,775. Getting to the orbit is 35. Transferring to the moon is 1,249. Landing and taking off is transfer 4 meters per second. Landing 630, takeoff 630, and then heading from the moon to Kerbal is another 310 meters per second. Right, so next step. I'm going to grab one of these. And my brain will immediately turn off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to decide what I want to take to the moon. And more importantly, no, I go in the reverse order. So what do I want to return to Kerbal? That's what I want to do. So I want to bring back, I want to recover science. So I want materials bay, I want a barometer, I want a thermometer. Actually, why am I taking a barometer? Barometers are pointless. Oh, that's not where I want to go. Turn on angle snapping. Barometer, pointless. I'm going to move that. No, I'm not. I'm going to take Mr. Goo. So, I want this to come back to Kerbal. I also want to think about the fact that I'm going to want some parachutes. Oh yeah, I want a comms thing. Stuff on a comms thing. Comms thing can come back. Utility. Wow, I've got a lot of utility things now. Let's chuck on some photovoltaic panels. Some batteries. Right, so I go head over to I and that's 1.4 tons. So now I want to look into parachutes. Parachutes. New. Stow drag 22, semi-deployed drag 1, fully deployed drag 500, deployment altitude 500. I actually don't know what that actually means. It's a bunch of numbers, but what I don't know is how much drag I want to not have my spaceship crash and burn in a fiery way. Let's move that out of the way, actually. Well, hang on. Right, okay, let's just assume it's all... I need many more parachutes. Oh, I can't stick things on the side of the goo canister. I suppose that makes sense. I'm somewhat constrained. I can't put stuff there because that's going to block the crew hatch. I know. Let's move. What's the? There we go. I've changed the symmetry mode. Because symmetry can either be radial. On a spaceship, it's normally radial. So what that means is, I'm just going to chuck the. You can see as I move, everything turns around the spaceship. If I do it radial, it's on either side of the ship, no matter where. So there we go. But I actually just want. There we go. And then I'm going to move these more like this. Because the batteries can go pretty much anywhere. It doesn't matter where they do. I don't think it matters. Well, I can block the front of the. Well, if I move them down here, turn off that, and just have a three emitters, three-way radial. Because you can cheerfully block the materials bay without causing any problems. I'm fairly sure the comms thing is actually is massless, so it shouldn't matter where exactly it gets put. And another thing before I go any further, landing struts. Maybe I would be better off. Maybe not. Trying to remember if batteries are in fact massless. I think they are, but I'm not sure. Same with the comms unit. I think it's massless, but I'm not sure. That's very. I'm kind of worried about doing certain things if it's not actually massless. But that should be right. They should be able to get some sun. The solar panels should be able to get some sun. I've got lots of parachutes because it's a relatively big, heavy thing now. Pretty much exactly 2 tons. Alright, so I need to stick propulsion on this thing until I get. So I want to take off from Kerbal, which is 630 piece of paper. So I want to take off from the moon, and that's 630 meters per second of delta V, and then 310 to go from the moon to my home planet of Kerbal, for an amazing total of 940 meters per second. So, what do I need to stick on this thing to do that? That is the question. So no, I happen to have another thing which calculates that. It's called Delta V. Might be called Kerbal Delta V in the Play Store. It's all on Android. So my ship full mass at the moment is 2. I'm going to go to the. So I'm going to try. What I'm going to try, I'm going to grab a fuel tank. I'm just going to go for this fuel tank, and then I'm going to chuck an engine on the back of it. These rocket maxes are enormous, aren't they? Oh no, that was not. Oh, I forgot. I was going to put. I'm going to put that. What? I also want to put RCS on. So I should do that before I do anything else. Where's RCS live? Is that in utility? No. Structural? Command and control. There we go. And we'll have a 4-way set of RCS systems, which we might as well chuck down here. Well, actually, want to be around the center of mass, which is around here. Don't know if the goo's going to get in the way, so let's move the goo further down. Oh, I've forgotten another thing I need to put on. Utility. I've got a bit more space here now. Where's me ladder? Oh, I didn't even want that. I want to. Oh, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. What's that? Do I want this one? Right, there we go. So, I'm going to take this away. No, I'm going to put it back on again. And what engine was I was just going to put on this liquid fuel engine here. And it will be able to land, so that's fine. So that takes you up to 3 tons. Right. Not telling me what I could do with is I need the full weight and the empty weight. Right. So 3.2 tons. So I put in 3.2. Not 302, but 3.2. I'm assuming this is in tons. And $45 tons of fuel. And I'm going to add an engine. LV909. I'm going to hit calculate. No oxidizer detected. Okay. Right, so that says I've got 500.52 meters per second. Which is I think that's what you need. Right, well that's not gonna be enough. So I'm going to need to do something to get more. Now the thing is, this is not calculating things like the RCS. So I'm not quite sure whether I need to just chuck a bigger tank on, but then if I just if it's as simple as just chucking a bigger tank on, that's going to cause all sorts of annoyances. Well, no, well, you know. Well, what I could do. there are many possibilities. You see. One of the issues with landers is the wider the base, the better it is. I'm making stuff up here. I should really do a better job. So, well, see, I can just take this off, put on. Now I'm caused myself confusion. Put on that. Grab that engine again. Trying to remember where legs are kept. I think they're utility. There we go. But then you've got a really tall and thin rocket. So I'm now 3.8 tons. And my fuel is now 90 and 110. That's still not enough. Wow, that's still not enough. That's 899.65. A lot of this depends on what I want to take. You know, am I just building a thing that's too big? Wow, this is also going. This is going to take some thinking. Science. Where's science? So the Michigan is actually very tiny, so that's not so much of a problem. Another thing I could do, if I go back to my thing for Delta V, is because if I put the small tank with the small engine, and I grab some legs. No, they're utility, aren't they? That's utility. Right, so what have we got there? That's 3.2 tons. Let's go back to that's 3.2 tons, and it was about 500 odd meters per second. Think back to that. So 3.2, and it's 45. 55. I mean, there's engineers. There's right. So that gives me 500.52. So I could have like a landing. I could have like a landing stage. I could have. So there could be a thing that it lands, and this is what gets chucked up. Into that. This is what leaves the surface of the moon, and I have a landing stage below it. Man, this is complicated. It's complicated. This is rocket science. It turns out is hard. Wow. See, apart, I mean, possibly I'm trying to do too many things at once. I'm trying to not just get a Kerbal onto the surface of the moon. I'm trying to get a Kerbal onto the surface of the moon and do at least 3 bits of science. Then that might be a bit much. Also going to grab that thermometer and put it more like here. So you can then move these batteries around. I'm suddenly have more real estate. This is what I'm actually going to be using. So this is 502. Well, let's call it 500 meters per second. Which is actually not enough to take off, according to this. Well, possibly I need a better, maybe it's a different engine I need. Let's see what other engines I've got. Poodle, no. Let's go crazy. Let's chuck that on. Right, so that's a Rocamax 48S. So my mass has gone down quite a bit. 2.8. Get rid of those. What was the thing again? Rocamax 48S. Oh, chuck in the Rocamax 48S. If I can find it. And I hit calculate. That didn't work at all. That does the exact opposite of what I wanted. That takes me down to 7. That can't be right. Same amount of, is it? Wow. So this is to do with the specific impulse of that engine. Wow, that's exactly the opposite of what I thought was. Oh, actually, no. Actually, I didn't have a mass of 2.8. I had a mass of 208. Mysteriously, that caused a problem. Let's go back here. So Rocamax from 2.8 tons. Calculate. That only takes me to 579 meters per second. That actually doesn't help me that much. Man, so confusing. I mean, in reality, I actually have a fair amount. Because I've got the RCS as well, and that does stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. And maybe what I really need to get is there's the various engineering plugins you can get. I've been resistant to getting plugins, not for any reason other than being slightly frightened about breaking everything. You know, worried that I'm going to do it wrong and break things. Which is possibly a bit cowardly. Alright. That did give me a bit extra, but I think most of the savings actually came from the weight that I saved by having a much smaller engine. If we were going to go crazy, like that, okay, then chuck legs on the outside, as so. So the weight is now 4.8 tons. My fuel total is now whatever 45 times 3 is. No, whatever 45 times 4 is, which is 180. And 50 times 4, which is 220. And I actually have another engine. That's a bunch. That's 1587.88. So this beast should be able to get from the surface of the moon. In fact, this beast should be able to get from the surface of the moon. I'm going to write that down actually for a switch apps. So 1587.88, which, according to my trip planner, is enough to go from the orbit of the moon, land, then take off and get back to Kerbal. And I have some extra built in. God, this thing's a monster. Munar monster lander. Save it. Yeah, it's a beast. I could probably, and I can probably and should probably chuck in a separator in there, which I'll do. So I'll be able to chuck a lot of this stuff when I finally get into Munar orbit. Does change the calculations slightly. $15.45, that should still be enough. Technically not quite enough, actually. Technically, that extra bit of weight chucks me over. So the next question is what do I use? So in theory, this is my returning stage, and I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to get some extra delta V because I've got monopropellant and I've got RCS thrusters. So I'm hoping that if I have now gone over, that's not a problem. Because according to this, doing the transfer, landing, takeoff, and transfer again is 1570, and I don't have that anymore. I've got 1545. Wow, this is all very complicated. And I could be completely doing stupid things. So it's all a question of, can I get rid of some things? How much is that? How much does that thing weigh? 0.05. Really? Any difference? Makes a okay. Um, that's kind of interesting. There's the rove mate. If and when I want to make rovers, I'm going to have to make them out. That's a good thing to start off with things. Yeah. Sorry, being distracted. So I may, in theory, not quite have enough, but if the if the monopropellant gives me 30 when I chuck everything off, and so I would only have this left. Um, let's see if I can find that out. For that calculation, it's 2 tons. Oh, I also ballsed up my calculation before. Exciting visual experience watching me press things on a thing you can't see me pressing them. I got 1, 2, 3. I should only have 4 of those. Oh, my engines are screwed up on my calculator. I've done utterly ridiculous. It's all broken. Wow, it's pretty broken. Right, so I've got 4 of those engines. 4.9. Oh, I get the same result, that's fine. Now here's a question for you. Do the RCS packs show up in the do the RCS packs show up in the okay. Ah, broken. They do. Actually, I don't know if they do that. That's another thing. No, it doesn't actually. Oh, there you go. RV105. Do the RV105s show up? No. So I was wondering if I could find out exactly how much delta V, if any, I get from the RCS system. But I do not currently have the ability to do so. How very interesting. Should get one of those engineer things and it'll tell me. But basically, if this gives me 30 odd, then that's going to be enough. So theoretically, that's going to get me from the moon back to Earth. Kerbal. Theoretically. Decisions. Yeah. Who knows, eh? It goes down to 4.8. It's a stupid thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The Sepatron doesn't seem to do what I would want it to do. Interesting. So theoretically, if I get this right, according to the planner, if I get this beast into the Munar sphere of orbit of influence, or Munar orbit, I'll be able to take it down and parachute. Parachute? What am I talking about? I'll be able to take this down. So I looked at the parachutes, got distracted. I'll be able to get this from this. I will get this from Munar orbit onto landing, then take off, and then get back to Kerbal. So the next thing I would do is make something that will get me, that would do the transfer. And so I'll build a stage underneath that, which will take all of this weight, this 4.8 tons, and so I would immediately just build a separator. That's not a separator. Chuck a separator under here or something. When I say or something, I mean that's exactly what I would do. Build a separator, and then I want to build something that will do a transfer of at least 1,249 delta V. Unfortunately, I'm not using any of the aerodynamic models, so I can just make this ridiculous object and chuck it up on top of a rocket. But I would now want to start making something that has enough delta V to get me where I want to go next, which is from Kerbal orbit to Munar orbit, which is 1,253 delta V. I believe that comes. This assumes a there's a 10% margin of error. So yeah, this is not the most action-packed of things. It's essentially what this demonstrates what I think you need to do, and trying to use a couple of applications that I found that give that piece of information. Maybe I just want to go and grab one of the Kerbal Engineer Redux, or I can't remember. There's a particular plugin which I think is what I want to use, but there you go. So never mind. So I'm working to get a moon. Working to get moon landing. That is my current plan. So there you go. That's so that's about 40 minutes of me faffing about, trying various different designs to see what I can get. I think I'm going to try and make this work. That is not what I wanted to do. Because I think that would be entertaining. What I wanted to do was grab that, and turn that, and get rid of it. Might even want to save that as a sub-assembly. No! Oh, what just happened? No, you can't. Apparently, the capsule can't be considered a sub-assembly. Maybe you can. Nope. Which is pity, because really the capsule has also got its own things. So. And there are also massless parts that I could probably just ignore. Anyway, oh my god, I've been trying to say goodbye for ages. This is where I've got to. I'm going to try and get this onto the moon and then try and get it off again. There's a lot of design procedure to go, which I think I'll not bore you with. And so next time we should actually be trying to launch this monster. So that's going to be entertaining. That should be the next thing. So if you've been enjoying watching me doing this kind of thing and want me to go to the next stage, which is actually trying to see if I can get this to the moon and back without exploding it, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. You can join us at www.nearlyenoughdiced.com, which is our role-playing game theme podcast and blog. And until we meet again, remember to always, always reach for the stars.